त्रिकालाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः. The number 16 in the tradition is extremely auspicious because it is a number of completeness and completion. This number 16 is associated with Bhagavan. That is why we have the expression Shodasha. Shodasha means 16. Kala, aspects. Purusha. Shodasha Kala Purusha. This is the description of Bhagavan given in the teachings in the Shastra. And what do these 16 aspects, what does it mean? It's, all kinds of things. Mind, subtle body, gross body, all these things by different reckonings. 16 aspects, the whole Jagat, everything. 16 aspects are counted. And the regular person, a jiva living on the earth, has 15. And then the 16th one is the prerogative of the Lord. And that is why we say, that when the person passes away, okay, they have become one, especially if it's a jnani, a knowledgeable person who has the knowledge of Bhagavan, of the self, who has studied Vedanta. Such a person passes away, we say, they have now gained the 16th Kala. That is why when we don't have any kind of funeral arrangements for when the sadhu goes into what is called Mahasamadhi. When the sadhu passes away, then what is done is 16 sadhus are invited for 16 days and fed and given 16 gifts. This is all this. So this is the abiding presence of the auspiciousness of the number 16. And so very fittingly, this text has 16 verses to show the completeness of, not only to show the completeness of Bhagavan, but also in chanting that one, that which keeps the 16th Kala away is one's own ignorance. In chanting this and understanding fully and assimilating the meaning of this Siva-Aparādha Stotra, what one does is one is ready to drop that self-ignorance. That is the whole idea. So therefore 16. And 16 also features very importantly in the steps involved in the invocation of Bhagavan in the course of puja. The whole puja is very elaborate and it has 16 steps. And Shodasha Upachara Puja, a puja that has 16 forms of invocation. And so everything is one step. The light, first you have a ghee lamp, then camphor lamp. Those are all steps. And in these 16 steps, the whole ritual takes the form of inviting a dear guest home. That is the whole idea. Because when you invite somebody dear to your house, you make sure they have come from the heat, you give them water to wash their hands and feet, you offer them water to drink, you offer them water to bathe, you offer them new clothes as a present, and then you offer them flowers, ornaments, and sandalwood paste. And then you invoke in them, you show them how dear they are to you. And the same thing that you do to the guest, a dear guest, the same thing is prescribed in the invocation of Bhagavan. Very beautiful. So you invite Bhagavan. Why should Bhagavan be invited? Isn't Bhagavan already there in my heart? Yes. But do you know it? No. Okay. That's why we have to as though invite. As though invite the truth of oneself that is already sitting, so to speak, in the heart. And you invite and to make it real. This is the whole idea, to make it real. And so you invite Bhagavan and you choose any kind of deity, anything, because everything is Bhagavan. Whatever you touch is Bhagavan, whatever you see is Bhagavan, wherever you go is Bhagavan. And so anything, if every form and every name is Bhagavan, we have the freedom to invoke any name, any form, and invoke the whole in that. And to worship, to have as a deity of favorite worship, Ishta Devata, in the form of Lord Shiva, is actually an expression of great emotional maturity. Because if you choose any other form, then that form will have beautiful iconography. You can relate to it. There are hands, there are legs, there is a face, a smiling face, a blessing hand. All this makes easier to relate. But when we look at Lord Shiva, there is usually a stone. In that stone is invoked Lord Shiva, some kind of an oval shaped stone, and smooth and round. And this is something where Lord Shiva is invoked. Nobody is worshipping the stone. You worship that which is invoked within the stone, and the stone becomes a nimitta, an instrument in which the Lord is invoked. And why does it take a lot of emotional maturity to be able to relate to Lord Shiva in this manner? Is because it comes very close to Nirguna, formless, nameless. It is the last frontier between the form and the formless. So this stone has a form, but it is as though all the forms of the Jagat were patted into one form. That's what the stone would represent. That's what Lord Shiva represents. All the forms, all the names in the universe. And so it becomes a highly sophisticated way of understanding Bhagavan. And so the bathing is done. And in a way, all this, there are certain rituals how the bathing should be done. There are 11 kinds of materials: water, milk. Yesterday we talked about the fruit juices, smoothies, the various kinds of preparations are there. They are kept ready, and one by one this bathing is done. And after each dravya there is a water that is poured. And imagine, you can only imagine the amount of mindfulness that is needed to conduct this kind of an elaborate worship. And in the temples and in certain houses, this is done every single day without fail. And so imagine that, you can only think about how present one must be. And if one is totally present with the whole thing of whatever needs to be done, one after another, we keep doing this, we keep doing this. And then after that, what? There is no more I that is left. The I who is present resolves into the presence that is everything. Very, very beautiful. So that is the idea. And so in reading these verses of omissions and commissions, I have not bathed the Lord with Ganga water, I have not bathed the Lord with this kind of dravya materials, etc. This can be taken on a very surface level, saying, oh, I should have done this and I haven't done this, and so therefore I am guilty. That's not the point. The point here is, I have not been mindful. I have not been present. I have not used the tools, because this form of worship is supposed to give what is called antahkarana shuddhi. That is the present, the prasada of this worship, this form of worship listed here in detail from verses 5 to 11 gives what is called antahkarana shuddhi. Shuddhi, purification, antahkarana, the purification of the heart, the inner instrument, the mind, etc. Purification from what? From all kinds of painful thoughts, samskaras, fears, tears, obsessions. This is where the freedom is. This antahkarana shuddhi is a great blessing, because this elaborate worship, which can take up to at least minimum 1 hour, sometimes 3-4 hours. And so for that amount of time one is present, one is engaged, and each time the water falls on the linga, one can visualize the heart being cleansed, purged, and cleaned, of purified of all things that one does not want to reside in the heart. One does not want jealousy, one does not want smallness, one does not want to suffer from a sense of incompleteness. All that we can just visualize going. And so, therefore, this kind of an elaborate worship, not done one time, even done one time, it has a profound effect, as you will see during Shivaratri. But when you do it all the time as a sadhana, as a practice, there is no I left anymore. The I, which is a bunch of complexes, the I, which is a bunch of fears and tears, has resolved into the Lord. This is what is called Atma Bhavena Pujayet. May one worship from a sense of oneness. This is the sense of oneness, because the object of worship in the tradition is non separate from the subject, completely non separate from the subject. How? No, this is how it is, because that which I worship is not outside of myself, because everything being one, everything being touched by the presence of the Lord. In the final verse, the last verse of the ninth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, there is a beautiful message. Manmana bhava madbhaktah madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktva evam atmanam matparayanah. Manmana bhava, be the one whose mind is completely centered on me. Me means the Lord. And be the one unto whose mind is completely centered on me. Lord includes goddess, okay? It's one and the same. And then be the one, mad bhakto bhava, be completely devoted to me. Madhyaji, be the one whose worship is centered on me. Mam namaskuru, be the one who surrenders to me. And yuktva evam, equipped with this sadhana, mameva eshyasi, you will gain me alone. As what? Atmanam. Atmanam is as yourself. You will gain me as the truth of yourself. Matparayanaha. Matparayanaha means committed to me in this manner. Again, this verse is very cryptic, and a surface level reading gives a kind of a meaning which is ensconced in duality. Yes, keep on thinking of me, keep on worshipping me, keep on doing this to me, keep on being devoted to me. This can create problems in the everyday, because I'm thinking of God, 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 and suddenly I see a dog, and then dog thought replaces God, and then one is feeling upset. Okay, I can't be with God because dog comes, and then something else comes, and then so therefore it is very important to understand that which we call Ishvara, Bhagavan, God, is not an object of thought. Like apple. When I say apple, you can visualize the apple as an object. You know what it looks like? Apple. Apple buddhi comes, apple thought comes, and apple is enclosed. That apple which we are talking about is enclosed by your thought. Same thing, apple, umbrella, pot, room, tree, Ishvara. Suddenly, when you say Ishvara, then the mind becomes empty. Why? Because you cannot visualize that as an object. That which is the truth of the apple, the tree, the room, and the leaf, and the water, and everything that we see, all the five elements, that is what is Bhagavan. So God is not something in the tradition that is enclosed by one's thought. Because if that were the case, then what we call Ishvara will become finite, and then there is no more any teaching at all, because the teaching is about understanding the Lord as infinite, as the infinite truth, which includes oneself. And so therefore it's, it's this is something which is very, very important to understand as we go through this text. Otherwise we would just be reproducing duality, and people do this all the time. Even in India, I have to do puja. Why? God will get angry. you know God will get upset, God will get angry, or that which is neither pleased nor nor upset by your actions is what we call Ishvara. This God becoming angry, this is something which is, which is based in this notion that there is something separate from me. When I was a child, if I was mischievous, the mother would get angry. And now what? As an adult, the divine mother is going to get angry. And so this is, this is an orientation. This is an orientation because of authority figures in our lives. And this orientation, the sooner we are able to overcome it, the more enjoyable the study of Vedanta will be. More enjoyable. You can relax into the study, because the relationship between Bhagavan and the universe, between Ishvara and the universe, is just like the relationship between shirt and fabric. When you say shirt is non separate from fabric. So you say shirt, here is the shirt, but the shirt really has no being. I'm wearing shirt, if you say, then shirt has no being. There is no such thing independently existent entity called shirt. Immediately, if you tell me I'm wearing a shirt, then I will say, what kind of shirt? Cotton shirt, polyester shirt, silk shirt. You see, that is the thing. That is what the truth of the shirt is. If I touch if I want to touch your shirt to see what it is made of, I'm not touching your shirt, I'm touching the fabric. So the fabric here and shirt are not synonyms. They are not synonyms. One is the cause of the other. There is a cause effect relationship between the fabric and the shirt. Then again, the fabric is not the cause. Seen from the standpoint, when I say cotton shirt, I transcend the fabric to look at the yarn as the cause. Then that cotton, when I say cotton, then immediately I go to cotton bush, and then cotton seed, and then another cotton tree, and then we'll be here all day long. Cotton tree, cotton seed, cotton tree. We go into an infinite regress. This is something so beautiful. So that which we see as a cause locally resolves into, suddenly becomes the effect seen from the standpoint of another cause. It has a cause. That is now the cause. Now that becomes the effect seen from the standpoint of its cause. So on and so forth. The whole Jagat is interwoven with a series of cause and effects which leads nowhere. This is Maya Shakti. This is Maya. This is Divine Mother Maya who keeps you spinning, trying to look for the cause. Makes you mad. But the cause is right there. That which is the cause of all causes is right there. That is why I say the relationship between Bhagavan and the Jagat is that of fabric and shirt. And so, what is the cause of all causes, we have to say? And then the answer is that which essentially is free of being either cause or effect. How to understand this? We'll take a small example, a very trusty, ancient example of pot and clay. Just like shirt and fabric, pot and clay are not synonyms. we see that wherever there is, wherever there is pot, clay is present. Clay is the cause, pot is an effect, and as though effect. But then the effect, the beauty about the whole teaching is that the effect is non separate from the cause. Effect is cause. Because when we talk about the pot, what is pot other than clay? The weight of the pot, weight of clay, the color of the pot, color of clay, the smell of the pot is nothing but the smell of earth, clay. In fact, the whole pot is nothing but clay, just like the whole Jagat is nothing but Ishvara. Nothing but Ishvara. Jagat is Ishvara, effect is cause, but cause is not effect. Pot is clay, but clay is never pot. Clay can be by itself as a lump, clay can be in the form of another pot, clay can be in the form of a Krishna figurine, so many possibilities. A lid, a cup, a vase, a jug, so many avatars, names and forms, iterations of clay. So many forms of clay. That clay in relation to this pot is like the limitless cause of the whole earthenware world. This is what Shvetaketu is told in the Chandogya Upanishad, that whole world is nothing but word and meaning. Vacharambhanam vikaro namadheyam mrittika ityeva satyam, just like the clay and the world of earthenware. And in order to know clay, you don't have to do a PhD thesis on each and every pot. You know one pot as clay, and then you know very well the whole world of earthenware. Ekena mritpindena sarvam mrinmayam vijnatam syat. Vijnatam bhavati. So you can either do a PhD one pot after another pot and then the third pot, or you can know that the pot is nothing but clay. When you know clay, you know the whole entire thing, world of earthenware. Similarly, that one thing to know in this universe is that Atma, Paramatma, which is the truth of oneself, which is not outside of oneself. And that alone is manifest into many names, many forms, many iterations. And whenever we use the word is, that is Ishvara. Room is, fabric is, shirt is, tree is, mountain is. That which is qualified by the word is keeps changing, keeps shifting. Even in the same name and form, it keeps shifting. Bud is, flower is, blooming flower is, withered flower is, composted flower is. Is unchanging. Is Ishvara. And that which is qualified by the word is keeps on changing. And that Ishvara resolves into I, the observer of the changing is the changeless I. The changeless I alone can observe movement, can observe changes, can observe things that come and go. And this is how the worship helps, because in this worship, what we are trying to understand is the causeless cause of the entire universe, which can be invoked in any name, any form. What is Ishvara. Body is Ishvara. Mind is Ishvara. Senses are Ishvara. Other jivas are Ishvara. Everything is Ishvara. So this whole Kṣamāpaṇā Stotram is about Ishvarizing, if that is a word, the entire universe. There is a saying in the Shastra, Yatra yatra mano yati, tatra tatra tava pada pankajam. Wherever the mind goes, there I see your lotus feet. This comes from a Vedic story an old story, an ancient story, where a holy person, apparently, maybe not Vedic, Puranic story, where a sadhu was sleeping with his feet towards the temple. And the temple priest came and was horrified. Said, you don't point your feet to Bhagavan. And the sadhu was sleepy. And he said, well, I'm old, tired, and sleepy. Wherever you want me to point the feet, take my feet and drag them there. So the priest grumbled, but he did exactly that because he thought this was very sacrilegious, the feet at the pointing at the temple. And so he put the feet this side. It was the Shiva temple. And wherever the feet now pointed, then a Shiva linga came up right there at the end of the feet. And then the priest was flabbergasted and annoyed. How did this happen? Or maybe it was just a roadside stone in the shape of Shivalinga I had not seen. And then he put the feet in various formations. If you think of a clock, 6 o'clock position, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, everything he put it, 12 o'clock position everywhere. And wherever he put the sadhu's feet, the Shivalinga came, just manifested itself, giving the poor priest an instantaneous Vedanta class right there. And this is how the expression comes. Wherever my eyes fall, and here wherever the feet fall, whatever I see is nothing but you. Yatra yatra manoyati, tatra tatra tava pada pankajam. Wherever I see your lotus feet alone. I see your presence wherever I look. This is what is the present of chanting this mantra, and this is what is the presence, the prasada of this kind of a worship. So this is stage number one, so we go step by step. So this is the first step. And the second step, the same phrase is chanted slightly differently. Yatra yatra mano yati, tatra tatra samadhayah. Samadhi singular, samadhayah plural. So wherever the mind falls, there is oneness. There is the cessation of thought, thinker, means of thinking. There is no more. That chitta vritti nirodha immediately and instantaneously and spontaneously takes place because of the understanding that which I am looking at is non-separate from the one who is looking. And the karana of looking, the instruments of looking, eyes, etc., are non-separate. The light of the eyes is the same as the light of consciousness, which is also blessing the object that I am interacting with at any given moment. So yatra yatra mano yati, tatra tatra samadhayah. This is the fructification of this understanding. First, we go step by step because we have to prepare the mind to receive this knowledge that wherever one goes, whatever one thinks of, instantaneous samadhi is there. Doesn't mean that the person just, stops interacting with the universe. Even as one is interacting with the universe, that inner space is there. One is completely immersed in that oneness, even though one may be outwardly eating, drinking, sleeping, acting, doing whatever needs to be done, without any of the actions affecting one, without there being a sense of identification with the doership or with the experiencership. More we'll see in the evening class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.
We would like to thank very much Swamini Svatmavidyananda. Let's give her a big hand. And we'll go over the schedule. We have yoga classes at 8, beginners on the Bay West platform and intermediate on the beach platform. 9:45 brunch in the dining area. 11 the ashram tour, living from reception. At 12 noon, we have a session of questions and answers with Swamini Svatmavidyananda here in the garden platform. And this is from 12 to 1:30. At 4, we have afternoon yoga classes, same locations like in the morning. 5:45 dinner. 7, the Gita Parayana in the temple. And 8, evening satsang, continuing the teachings with Swamini Svatmavidyananda. Now we're going to conclude with the final prayers and the arati.
Page 97. Om Trimbakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivadanam urvarukamiva bandhanam mrityurmukshiyamamritat. Om Trimbakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivadanam urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityurmukshiyamamritat. Om Triambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivadanam urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityurmukshiyamamritat. Om Sarvesham swastir bhavatu, Sarvesham shantir bhavatu, Sarvesham purnam bhavatu, Sarvesham mangalam bhavatu, Sarve bhavantu sukhina, Sarve santu niramaya, Sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashe dukapag bhavet, asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityor mamritam gamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. Universal Prayer by Swami Shivananda. O adorable Lord, O mercy and love, salutations and prostrations unto Thee. Thou art omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. Thou art Sat Chit Ananda. Thou art existence, knowledge, and bliss, absolute. Thou art the indweller of all beings. Grant us an understanding heart, equal vision, balanced mind, faith, devotion, and wisdom. Grant us inner spiritual strength to resist temptation, to control the mind. Free us from egoism, lust, anger, greed, hatred, and jealousy. Fill our hearts with divine virtues. Let us behold Thee in all these names and forms. Let us serve Thee in all these names and forms. Let us ever remember Thee. Let us ever sing Thy glories. Let Thy name be ever on our lips. Let us abide in Thee forever and ever. Om Bolo Sadguru Shivananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Bolo Shri Guru Vishnu Devananda Maharaj Ki Jai. We stand up for the arati, page 118. Om Jai Jarati Vinna Vinayaka Vinna Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jai Jarati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jai Jarati Venugopala Venugopala Venulola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jai Jarati Venkataramana Venkataramana Sankataharana Sitarama Radeshyama Jai Jarati Gauri Manohara, Gauri Manohara Bhavani Shankara, Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara, Jai Jarati Rajarajeshwari, Rajarajeshwari Tripura Sundari, Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati, Mahakali Mahashakti, Jai Jarati Anjaneya, Anjaneya Hanumantaha, Jai Jarati Datatreya, Datatreya Trimurtya Bhatara, Jai Jarati Adityaya, Adityaya Bhaskaraya, Jai Jarati Shanishwaraya, Shanishwaraya Bhaskaraya, Jai Jarati Shankaracharya, Shankaracharya Advaita Gurave, Jai Jarati Sangurunata, Sangurunata Shivananda, Jai Jarati Vishnudevananda, 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 Jai Jarati Agastya Munaye, Agastya Munaye, Shirama Priyaye, Jai Jarati Ayapa Swamiye, Ayapa Swamiye, Dharma Shastave, Jai Jarati Jesus Gurave, Moses Gurave, Buddha Gurave, Jai Jarati Muhammad Gurave, Guru Nana Gurave, Samastaravyo Namaha, Jai Jarati Venugopala, Om Natatra Suryo Bhati Nachandatarakam, Nema Vidyotabanti Kato Magnihi, Rame Vavantamanabhati Sarvam Tasya Basastramidam Vibhati, Om Gange Chayamune Chaiva Godavari Saraswati, Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Namastabhyam Namo Namaha. Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhu Sasaka, Tvamevam, Tvahameva Vidya Dravinan Tvameva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Kayena Vacha Manasendriyarava Budyat Manava Prakriti Swabhavan Karomi Adyan Sakalam Parasmahi Narayanai Samar Payami Sarvadharmam Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyo Mokshaishyami Ma Sucha. Thank you everybody at home for joining us for this beautiful morning satsang. Have a beautiful day. And everybody here on the platform, please help us in clearing this satsang hall. A beautiful day. Om Tat Sat.